Hey everybody, Code9001 here, and welcome to day 5 of my Zelda month. Now, with the next game we're talking about, I had a little bit of debate with myself whether I should cover this now or over the next couple of days, but I said, you know what, I'm covering it now. Because today we're talking about Ocarina of Time, everyone's favorite game. Now, this game I have a personal connection to because, first of all, it was the first Zelda game I ever played, and I fell in love with the series ever since. Um, with this game, it was like one of the few games that me, my brother, and one of my sisters we've all played. And little family story. As a tradition, my sister would name whatever file she played Zelda, and we did this as we had no idea what we were doing initially. You're thinking, oh, because she's a girl, she should be named after a girl character. That's what we initially thought. But the funny thing is, unintentionally, we came up to the cutscene where, on my sister's file, where she got the Ocarina of Time from Zelda. And it was so funny. There's quite a few funny moments with it. Zelda, can you hear me? It's me, Zelda. And also, when you meet Zelda for the first time, it's like what is your name? And it's like dot dot dot. It's like Zelda. That sounds familiar. It's like it's just so familiar. It's your goddamn name. But enough of that personal stuff. This game, I loved it so much. The atmosphere. It was the first 3D Zelda game. So, and on launch, when it was announced at a special event, it was originally called Zelda 64 because of the whole gimmicky putting 64 at the end of everything. Ha ha ha. But with this, Ocarina of Time, it was really great. You started out as like a young version of Link, and you live in this forest. You get this fairy Navi, who everyone knows is annoying as hell. So you go and meet a whole cascade of characters and go through a lot of unique dungeons, who I can honestly say can really recapture how much exciting it was way back then, going back to it now. But it really had a lot of cool things going on for it. One of the funniest things you can ever do is in the final battle with Ganon. Not Ganon, Ganondorf. My bad. Actually, yeah, there's nothing. This was the first instance of Ganondorf being in the game, like his actual humanoid form. And in this one, he has like a bunch of armor clad and stuff. And it was said that a male was born to the Gerudos every 1,000 years or so. And with this, I guess it caused a lot of problems for him growing up, and maybe that's why he wants to destroy the world. Who knows? Now, as soon as it launched, it was officially announced that in the timeline order that Ocarina was supposed to be the first in the timeline. Well, that is up until Skyward Sword, obviously, but we'll get into that later. Now, once you beat the first 3 dungeons and get the spiritual stones, you're supposed to go to the Temple of Time with the Ocarina of Time, play a certain song, and you get to the Master Sword, which has you be asleep for 7 years, and you'll become an adult. Which it's later found out, actually, that the Master Sword is the key to switching back between childhood and adulthood. The two are interchangeable, which you kind of find is what you have to do basically through most of the game, is switch back from childhood to adulthood and vice versa. But it was a really good game, very unique at the time. And with it, Oh, there's also the first instance of a Zelda game where you actually gained an instrument and you actually played notes. And most of the songs, it was only like 6 notes. And then a lot of jokes go around. It's like, play the first 6 notes and automatically know the rest of the song. Because that's kind of how it was, really. But I do love that this game was so popular that they brought it back from the dead. Well, not from the dead, but you get what I mean. They remade it and updated the graphics and all to the 3DS, and I gotta say, it looks fantastic from what I've seen. Um, because on the 3DS, the character models look more like they did from the conception art that's within the strategy guide than the little testy polygons that they had in the original, which is pretty great. I'd imagine a lot of the temples are probably the same and like how you beat them, but it probably is a unique way to look at a Zelda game being on the 3DS and all. Um, but like one of the funniest things in the battle with Ganondorf, like going back to that, before I got sidetracked, is that you can actually beat him using a bottle. Yeah, I am not kidding you. You could beat him with a bottle, and it swings out a lot faster than your actual sword. So the thing is with this is the only instance where the Master Sword is not the most powerful sword. In fact, there's one more sword that's more powerful, but you have to go through a long side quest. You can't warp your route away for some areas where it's timed. No, 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 no. They'll punish you for that. It's the only. It was one of the first games that punishes you for cheating, basically, or doing a speed run technique or something. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, which is the big Goron sword, which you can't use your shield, so that's the only drawback. However, it was a pretty cool game. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people agree with me. It was a lot of fun. But also, Ocarina of Time caused a lot of conspiracies with the timeline because a lot of people believed in a linear timeline back then. But within recent years, Miyamoto said himself, because of Ocarina of Time, the events of that, where at the end you get Zelda feels bad about your childhood being gone and all that, and during the adult timeline after you defeat Ganon, and she decides to send you back to your childhood. And to live out your childhood years, which causes the timeline to go from linear to split. So we have the adult timeline and the young and the childhood timeline, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I guess that's really about it. Tune in tomorrow when on day 6 when we talk about the direct sequel to Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I will see you guys then. Later. Goodbye.